Good evening and welcome to Winchester News Online. I'm Maxine Erasmus and here are today's headlines. Winchester woman recovering after horror car smash, anger over student residence in Stanmore, university raises record money for charity, and in sport, a university basketball team has finally won, but which one was it? There were dramatic scenes as a local woman was air rescued during rush hour on Andover Road. Colin Jeffrey has this report.
A woman from Winchester is recovering from her injuries at Southampton General Hospital today. The woman, who was seriously injured while travelling in her car along Andover Road, has improved considerably according to police reports. The collision occurred around 9 AM at the turn-off of the Sir John Moore Barracks. A commercial white van was involved in the incident. The male driver from Eastleigh sustained no injuries. Police and paramedics attended the scene alongside the fire service, who had to cut the woman free from her Ford Fiesta. She was then strapped to a spinal board and immediately flown by a helicopter for treatment. The incident saw Andover Road closed for several hours as police attended the scene. Hampshire Constabulary are still investigating the cause of the accident.
Tension continued between students of Stanmore and local residents following a fiery housing debate. The meeting took place at Winchester Family Church. Stuart Appleby reports.
Heated, intense and passionate, Stanmore residents gathered to debate community issues on Thursday. Representatives from the University of Winchester, the local police and the City Council were in attendance to discuss the growing amounts of students living in the Stanmore area year upon year. It's areas like this in Stanmore where the relationship between local residents and students occupying student accommodation has become strained. Antisocial behaviour and increased noise levels has disrupted the local community. How can these teething problems be solved?
The university have ambitions to increase their numbers of students, but again a great many will be sort of living out in the community, and that's bad news for Stanmore residents.
These people will get very disillusioned. They spend a lot of time here tonight working hard to come up with ideas. It's now my responsibility and other agencies to go out there and deliver something for them. There's 250, 300 people here. I've never in the 16 years I've been here saw such a big turnout for a night like this.
The university, the police and the council are to undertake forceful measures to act on residents' concerns. Stuart Appleby, Winchester News Online, Stanmore.
I'm joined now by prospective Conservative MP Steve Brine. Hi Steve.
Hi.
You were at the meeting last week talking to residents. What issues do they have with students?
Well, I think like any university city, you know, they have the same issues. I mean, I was a student in Liverpool for many years and I lived in an area called the Dales, which was packed full of students and residents, long-term residents. And, you know, the issues are the same as just their lifestyles being very different to student lifestyles. So, you know, generally people who work and have small kids like me tend to not go out and get plastered on Wednesday night. Students tend to do that because it's sport night. So I think it's just the juxtaposition between their lives and students' lives. Issues of noise, issues of parking, they're issues that have been issues on Stanmore for many, many years. I think it would be unfair to lay it all at the feet of the tension between the students and the residents.
Well, do you think there's a solution to the problem?
Yeah, I think that there are some of which are local and some of which are down to people like me and down to Parliament. I think at the end of the day, you've got a situation at the moment whereby anybody could buy any house in Stanmore Lane. Every single house in Stanmore Lane could be bought by a student landlord and then could let it to students. That would completely, fundamentally change the road. And I think some of the issues that residents have is about the balance. You know, as somebody who seeks to represent the city as the MP, you know, I'm interested in contented communities, if it doesn't sound too pious. So I'm interested in communities getting on. And I think one of the solutions is to put turning family houses into student residences into the hands of the planning department of the council, so that they have some idea, of what those communities are changing into, and they can keep a measure on it. Because at the moment, I think some of the residents fear that it's being completely student, some streets are being completely student as opposed to a healthy mix. I think a healthy mix is to be welcomed, and you know, when I go canvassing in Stanmore, I love it, because you know, you talk to students, you talk to somebody in their 80s, yeah, it's a vibrant community.
Definitely. Thank you very much for your time. Local students are demanding changes to the standards of their accommodation after discovering mould and fungus growing in the bedrooms and shared kitchen areas. Madeline Clipple has more.
Students of the University of Southampton living at Erasmus Park in Winchester are campaigning against conditions of their homes.
One of the Residents of this house found mushrooms growing behind their sink. There were several rooms that were in states that people didn't want to move in because they were so unclean.
My shower didn't work, and it's only just been fixed after 8 weeks. I choose my friends or the swimming pool. They
sent a lot of maintenance men up here, so they've been doing extreme amounts of general maintenance.
Apparently.
The housing provider A2 Dominion did not want to give an interview, but in a statement they said, "We regret the students have come across a number of repairs, maintenance and cleaning issues requiring attention, and we would like to offer our sincere apologies. We have been working closely with the university to address the matters raised and have put in place an action plan. These issues have been going on for several years. This year there is more support from the students and local politicians like Martin Todd. If the problems remain, the students will take further action." Madeline Klippel, Winchester News Online, Winnall.
If you have any comments on today's stories, then please let us know at winnellnews@googlemail.com. Now to Tom Obtrubsky with the sport.
Thanks, Maxine. Well, football first, and Eastleigh will meet very familiar faces tonight when they face Lewis for the third time in little over a week. This third meeting comes after a draw in the FA Trophy tie at the weekend. Arnold Muchoko reports on the 1-1 draw.
The third round of the FA Trophy came alive on Saturday when Eastleigh hosted Lewis at the Silver Lake Stadium. The two teams had played each other last week in a league match, which Eastleigh won 1-0. Eastleigh kept the visitors on the back foot from the onset. Their relentless attack was rewarded in the 29th minute when Ryan Timms committed a clumsy tackle on Anthony Rivera. Referee Matt Foley was left with no option but to award a penalty. Peter Ardini converted from the spot kick to put Eastleigh 1-0 up. The atrocious weather conditions continued throughout the day and almost marred an entertaining game. 18-year-old Steve Cook, who was signed by Eastleigh from Brighton on loan last week, earned a red card in the 75th minute after committing a foul on Tim Rivers. Jack Holder headed the equaliser for the visitors from a corner kick in the last minute of stoppage time to send the tie into a replay. Arnold Muchoko for Winchester News Online.
Elsewhere, Winchester City's fine run of form continued as they edged a difficult game at Cow Sports 4-3. Manager Stuart Hussey was delighted with his team's performance.
Really pleased with the game. Got off to a slow start, 2 goals down in 15 minutes, which was, we didn't suspect that. But we recovered well. Got 2 goals back early on in the first half, and then managed to go ahead before half time.
Now, the university's basketball teams have failed to win a single league game this season. The two sides make up 2 of the bottom 3 in the BUCS conference. But something had to give as the two sides met at lunchtime today. It was the first team who claimed the bragging rights as they ran out winners by 50 points to 35. Well, that's all your sport for now. Back to Maxine.
In a fantastic effort for charity, Winchester students raised nearly 3 times as much money for children in need as they did last year. Our reporter, Kaylee James, was in the thick of it.
Leg waxing, karaoke and fancy dress could only mean one thing. Children in Need has come to Winchester. I'm here with Pugsy to watch the events unfold.
Very good. Every year we obviously we just have a children need, we dress up, we do party games.
We went to speak to SU President Jimmy Whale about the day, but he couldn't talk to us due to a sponsored silence. Luckily, we found Andrew Emerson, who had this to say.
I think it's really good that the university and the union is really getting behind children in need. It's a really worthy charity, it's a really worthy cause, and it shows that we care about the wider world.
It's like a train wreck, you don't want to look at it, you can't.
£1,388.34 will be sent to children in need. This is Kaylee James reporting for Winchester News Online.
It looked like Kaylee had a great time. Now then, to keep up with everything that's happening entertainment-wise in Winchester this week, stay tuned for Glenn Hutt's What's On in Winchester coming next. And that's your Live at 5 news for this week. Good night.